Hello, everybody. Welcome to Facebook Live with Mel Rapozo. Today is Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. We're entering the ninth month of the year already. Boy, oh boy. It just seems like it goes a lot quicker as you get older. Hey, Kenny, Justin, how you guys doing? Julie? Whoo, you guys are just waiting for 5:30, huh? Clayton, aloha, you guys. Again, I'm in the bedroom, so I'm gonna apologize up front if we get disconnected. My signal strength is showing full strength. I'm on Wi-Fi. Hey, Clayton, Terrence, what's happening? Jason, Pops, Dad, all the way from Washington. Thank you. Dave, aloha, you guys. Anthony and Paul, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining me today again. Beatos, aloha, you guys. Happy birthday. Oh, Clayton, thank you. My birthday is tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday, so thanks, Clayton, for the early happy birthday. Appreciate it. Karen, Sandy, aloha, you guys. Thank you very much. Sorry for the messy hair. It's been a bad hair day. I think the humidity is just it's so hot. It's just so hot. Hey, Pam, aloha, you guys. Aloha, everybody. And yeah, if we get disconnected, hang on. We'll run to the living room and hook up to the other connection. So I'm hoping that we can get through this hour without any interruptions. Hey, Gary, thank you guys for joining us today. Facebook Live every Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30. Hey, Jolene, how you doing, Jolene? Long time no see. It's so cool. You get to see old friends here. You know, you don't get to see them out and about. A lot of them live far away. So it's always cool every week to touch bases with friends. Charlie Iona. Aloha, brother Charlie. How you doing? Looking good, my friend. Looking at your pictures, I'm getting all jealous, man. I think we're going to have to create one, a book, a cookbook on how to lose weight, because you're doing a good job, Charlie. Keep up the good work. Chucky Rimata, another one. Another former colleague from the Air Guard. Aloha, brother. Marlene and Ed Phillips. My Pop Warner buddy from California. Aloha, you guys. Dave. Aloha, you guys. Thank you again for joining me on Wednesday, as we always do. Larry Aruda. Aloha, Larry. Thanks. Got a few things to discuss today. I think it'll be an interesting day. I'm hoping that you guys, again, engage, share your comments, share your feelings, because that's what this is all about. Trying to educate and inform, trying to keep you guys in the loop of what's going on. I did want to start off by congratulating all of you that went and did the marathon, the Kauai Marathon this weekend. I mean, what an amazing feat to see all those guys out there and gals doing the marathon and the half marathon. Special congratulations out to Kaleo Perez and his wife, Kathy. That was Kathy's first one. Kaleo's done a bunch. Hey, Stanley. But we had dinner with Kathy and Kaleo last week, and Kathy was telling us that she's going to go do the marathon, the half marathon. And I looked at her and I said, why? She goes, oh, because my friend is going. My friend wanted to go. And, you know, she asked me to go with her. And I said, yeah, it's a marathon. It's not like walking around the park. And she said, well, it was on her friend's bucket list. So she wanted to go with her friend. So blessings to her and Kaleo and everybody else. You know, I am not going to sit here and pretend to or fool myself to think that maybe I'll do them next year. I have absolutely no interest, no desire to participate in any marathon. 13 miles is just too much for me. Hey, Patsy, all right. And Joyce, thank you. I get tired driving 13 miles or 26 miles. Whew. And then everybody tell me they get all these blisters on their feet. And I mean, Lord, for a medal, you guys can have it. I admire each and every one of you. That is just not my cup of tea. So, are you going to attend any of the county information meetings for the West Kauai community plans? I'm planning on it. I can do it. Yes, Ed. Hey, if you come to Kauai, Ed, and you want to do it, I will gladly go with you. Okay, how's that? Yeah, Julie, I planning to actually get out there to attend some of those meetings. I think it's important and good information. Running 13 miles should be illegal. Yeah, Terrence, my man. You know, that's my thoughts exactly, man. I love it. Hey, Ken, Charlene, aloha, you guys. Aloha, you guys. Thanks again. Thanks again. So yeah, good job for all of those people. And I'm sure there's some of you on this right now that actually did it. Hey, Jonathan, how's it going, buddy? Aloha. That did it. So congratulations, good job. And better you than me. Hey, Bethany and Dagmar. Aloha, aloha, aloha. All right, where do we start? Did enough running when I was younger? Absolutely, Beatles. Remember we had to do that physical fitness run every single year? Woo! Hey, Parnell and L. Aloha, you guys. Aloha, you guys. Yeah, I did my share. I did my share of running and hiking, and yeah, I did my share. So leave that for the youngins and even the old ones that want to do it. You know, really, kudos to them. Kudos to them. Okie dokie. All right. Yeah. Also, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about the auditor position. A lot of, the Garden Island wrote a Talk Story article on Sunday, which, I want to thank Coco Zicos publicly. I don't normally talk to the media. I don't talk to our reporters because they have an amazing habit, especially at Garden Island, of taking me out of context, misquoting me, or taking the parts that they want to make me look like the bad guy. But Coco Zicos did the article. She did a great job. She covered everything fairly and accurately. So Coco, I don't know if you'll be on later, if you'll be watching. Hey, Jamie. Thanks for joining. Kathy, aloha. And Leo, aloha again, bro. Every week. I love it, man. Thanks. Thank you very much. So a lot of people saw that. A lot of people, have come up and say, wow, man, I didn't know that about you. I didn't know that about you. Well, I don't know why the Garden Island wanted to do it. I thank them, and I thank Coco for doing an accurate article. But in that, I mentioned that I was asked about the auditor position, and I said, I have no idea. As far as I know, I was still in the running. Well, yesterday I got my letter from County Council signed by the chair that I did not get the job. So just wanted to let you guys know now, so everybody knows. I'm not sure if they hired anybody. I hope they did. This county definitely needs an auditor. Hey, Kevin, we need an auditor, an independent auditor. And I know the mayor and I know the council chair do not favor that. They would rather outsource the audits like we have been doing. It's much more expensive, and it takes a long time because of procurement. And it's just good. Hey, Lemomi, aloha. Thanks again for your support for the Japanese Cultural Club. And, so I know when I was on the council, there was discussion, and both Derek and Arrow felt that there was too much money to fund for an office. And I told them that, the prior office was funded over $1 million, which was too much. That it can be done for much less with a much smaller staff for this island. But anyway, I did not get hired. I'm okay with it. I just hope that they hired someone that we will be able to rely on to do truly independent audits for this county, because I can tell you it is sorely needed. I know the council and the administration came together and came up with 4 audits that were approved, but it hasn't even started yet because of procurement, because of defining scopes and all of that. So the internal auditor, which would be the office of the county auditor, is vital. And I had hoped to have been to have been able to contribute. That's not the case. So I just hope that they do. I am afraid, and I'm really worried that they are going to not hire anybody and remove that auditor's position from the charter. And that would be a shame. The people voted back in whenever it was, I can't remember the election, but they voted that they wanted an office of the county auditor. So I think for anyone to try to take that away right now, I think that's very. I don't think that's productive at all. I think they're afraid of hiring a real auditor. Maybe they will find out what actually costs for a job. Yeah. Hey, Mir and Cindy, aloha. Deborah, aloha, you guys. So anyway, so much for that. We're gonna move on. Koloa Park update. We discussed this last week in detail regarding the Kukuyula condition that they were to build and maintain a 20-acre park for the people of Koloa, basically for the people of Kauai. Hey, Tumua, aloha. And then, after how many years of inactivity, the county decided that, hey, let's repurpose that land and set it up for housing. And of course, Kukuyula would be okay with that because it takes away that obligation to not only build and develop, but to maintain that park forever and ever and ever. So the community got involved, led by Terry Blake and Hana Sarah and several other people attended the Planning Commission meeting a few weeks ago and submitted testimony. Hey, Roy, aloha, Chief. And really forced the county. I mean, the Planning Commission, hey, Leona, didn't seem like they wanted to move forward. The administration did. They had a community meeting, invited the administration, and I gotta say, hey, Fred and Palinapa, the county has decided to not pursue that anymore. And again, this is a perfect example. Hey, Linda, thank you. Perfect example how a community can come together and make change. I firmly believe that Kukuyula needs to be held to their commitment, to that condition, to provide that park, and that we need to go search elsewhere for lands for public housing or affordable housing. We cannot take away a condition that the people supported Kukuyula way back when, back in 04, 05, whenever we went through that whole process. And the condition was that they would get a park. They would get a couple of parks. They would get affordable housing. They would get road improvements, which they all committed to and is required. They have not done most of the conditions. And this one right here almost got away. Hi, Cindy. So I want to say a special thanks to Mayor Kawakami. He ultimately made the right decision and saying, no, we're not going to change it. We're gonna require that park to be built. And in fact, I do want to quote what he said. He said, however, after last Tuesday's Planning Commission meeting, it was clear from the testimony that notwithstanding the crisis, meaning the affordable housing crisis, the community cost to build this particular housing project was too much. It was clear that this proposal would not yield housing at the pace that the public expects, and we all mutually agreed that it was best to move on. So thank you, Mayor Kawakami. Derek, good job. That's what the people wanted, and that is what the people deserve. And thank you, guys. Interestingly, it was in a Civil Beat article today. Hey, Jody, the Kauai County Managing Director, Mike DeHelig, said, he's quoted, "It was obviously not the time to force this project down the throat." I don't know what to make out of that statement. It was obviously not the time to force this project down the throat. When is the right time to force anything down somebody's throat? So I'm not sure if that was taken out of context. It's in quotes. Not a very good statement, I think. You as county leaders, whether you're elected or appointed, your job is not to force anything down anybody's throat. Your job is to get the community's input and make decisions that will benefit the community as a whole. And aside from that comment, I think this issue worked out well for the Koloa community, rightfully so. That park, again, that condition was placed in there and for the sole purpose that the impacts of this mega rich community on the Koloa Poipu community was going to create an impact, and to soften the blow, we put conditions on there, and the 20-acre park was one, and I'm still kind of upset that it hasn't been built. And when Kukuyula spokesperson said, basically they're just waiting for the county to say go ahead. So I'm not sure, and I got to follow up on that, and I'll be following up on that this week. Why haven't we moved forward, and are we, the county, the roadblock for that park to be built? Because that park surely is needed. At the Planning Commission meeting, the director's report stated that the Koloa parks are underutilized. Totally untrue statement. You all know that. If you live in Koloa, you know. If you have kids or grandkids that play sports, you know that Koloa parks are not underutilized. Irene and Dennis, aloha. Government has been forcing laws down our collective throats for too long. Megan, aloha, you guys. And Jeffrey, aloha. So anyway, that park will at some point be built, and at least the Koloa community will be able to enjoy that park as it was promised back when the rezoning application came to the county council, again, probably back in 2003, 2004, around that time frame. I believe it was my second term, and we spent a lot of time working with the community, and the park was one condition that the community absolutely wanted, so therefore they should get it. It was a commitment, it was a condition, and it's enforceable. Hey Larry, aloha brother, long time no see. All right, moving along. Hey, we might get done early today. Dominic. All right, you guys saw the article about the abandoned vehicle issues on Kauai. Quite stunning numbers, I think. If you go, hey Charlie, aloha brother. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Charlie Naihe. If you ever saw him in the Kamehameha Day parade, he was the king. He looked like a king. Thank you for joining us, Charlie. Aloha. Hey, Robin. Thank you, guys. Oh, we got a bunch of new people today. Awesome. Anyway, the numbers of abandoned vehicles are stunning. KPD currently has more than 260 pending complaints about abandoned or derelict vehicles around the island. 260, that's pending. According to their stats, the department handled the removal of 404 abandoned and derelict vehicles during fiscal year 2017. That's 404. 498 in 2018. And during the fiscal year of 2019, they handled 653 abandoned vehicles, abandoned and derelict vehicles. Hey, Sean, Siri, aloha, you guys. Now, obviously, that comes with a cost. In 2017, $411,000. 2018, $423,000, and so far this year, $491,000, almost $500,000 to deal with these abandoned vehicles, meaning towing them away. And hey, Auntie Millie, aloha. Unbelievable. And so the county council, they're introducing two bills that's going to try to fix it. I happen to agree with one of the two. I happen to agree with one of the bills. These bills are going to go to the legislature because these are state laws, not county laws. So we, the county, got to encourage our state legislature to pass or change some of the laws that's going to benefit the people of Kauai. So we need to follow. Hey, Cindy, how are you? And Jan, thank you. So the first bill that they are asking the legislature to pass is placing the responsibility of the transfer of a vehicle to the seller and not the buyer. You see, right now, if you sell a car, and you know this if you've sold a car, you take your ownership, you tear off the notice of transfer, and you give it to the buyer. And then the buyer has so many days to go turn it into DMV. What happens when the owner of the seller drops off the notice of transfer? He's off the hook, or she's off the hook. The new buyer, if he or she does not register that car, there's no record of the transfer, and no one is accountable. So the simple solution, as our county council is asking the state to do, is you make the seller responsible. In other words, if I'm selling you a car, I need to go and fill out the paperwork of who I sold the car, and I would take it a step further and have it done like a legal document, that if I sell to you, we go like we buy a car, you sign, and there's a notary, and if you trade in your car at a dealership, you gotta get your signature notarized, and that's to prevent people from selling stolen vehicles. Hey, Billy, Joy, aloha, you guys. The seller turns in the notice of transfer, but the registration isn't done by the buyer. Then there's no record except for that notice of transfer, which is not enforceable. because the vehicle is not registered. So it's a flawed system. And hey, Eric and Mark, thank you guys. Thank you. What I'm suggesting is that two of you go to the DMV and you sell the car at the window and you register the car at the same time. Or you have a notary notarize the transaction, so the seller, the registered owner of record, has to go in and provide these documents, because then you can set the law to hold the last registered owner accountable and responsible. In the past, I noticed mailed in the notice of transfer, yes, but then that transfer gets logged into the system. But in the system, it says notice of transfer is pending until the buyer comes in and registers the car. Most of these abandoned vehicles are cash deals, $200, $300, $400 cars, junk cars. They run it around until they go back to the mainland and they park the car. So you go, the cops go, they run the license plate, run the VIN number. It comes out to the last owner with a little note that says notice of transfer pending, but there's no way of tracking who bought it. Unbelievable. So again, my solution is you do it like any other transfer at a dealership. You come in and the buyer signs, the seller signs, it's notarized, it gets turned into DMV. That new buyer is now responsible for anything that happens with that car. That's the only way we're going to resolve this issue. That's the only way, because right now people are dumping cars all over the island, and because of that notice of transfer, and it's a one-sided notice of transfer, unbelievable. So that's what it is. And I'm hoping that the legislature, again, this is the time we as citizens and voters got to reach out to our delegation, our Kauai delegation, and say, hey, help us out, move this along. Why are there so many vehicles on the road with out-of-state plates, no safety checks, no tax sticker? They have so many days to go in and register the car. They can keep their plates on as long as the existing registration is current. And then when it expires, they got to go in and get Hawaii plates. They do have to get a tax sticker that they do pay the tax. They're just allowed to keep the license plate that they have, or they can swap them. That's up to them. I'm missing some of this, but my experience is the Keiki have priority on the Koloa fields. I try to get those fields for use and was declined because the youth have first choice. If they're not using it, then why can't others use the field? I was told to ask the Keiki League to use the fields. Are not the fields under county jurisdiction? I need to go through county for permission first and not the Keiki Leagues. Jeffrey, if the park is vacant, you should be able to use it. You know, too many times, too many situations. Our county policy is sending the citizen, the taxpayer, to go do their work. I agree with you, Jeff. I mean, the youth fields have reservations for certain parts of the field at certain times. When they're not using the field, then anyone else should be able to use it. So it is a flawed process, and that definitely needs to be looked at. I know it's interesting because I know you're talking about the senior league, but I wanted to use the Hanamalo Pavilion. You know, the seniors put up the pavilion, and they, you know, that's their home field at Peter Reno Park. And I was told the same thing. Said, no, you got to go get permission from the team. It wasn't a problem for me, but you know, the fields all have schedules, and no one owns the field. It's a public field, so the Parks Department should be able to grant that permission and not have you go run around and finding people that you got to go get permission from, because it's the county's park. So you're right, Jeffrey, and that process definitely needs to be looked at. People are not just responsible anymore. It is important to complete the transaction. Good to support this proposed change. Absolutely, we have to support the change. Elena, aloha. How about make the seller turn in the plates, and the new owner will then have, however, whatever it takes to get the new owner in to register that car, besides just telling them, hey, you got to go register the car, because they're not doing it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So we got to get that seller registered. The buyer, the new buyer needs to be registered in the system. So if anything happens, we can go after the new buyer and not the seller. Hey, Thomas, Brian, my brother, aloha, Hope, Susan, Gladys, Kelleen, Malia, Thomas, thank you guys. Woo, boy. Yeah, it's a public field, Jeffrey. Absolutely. Lano ho kano. All right. Now, the other bill, which is one that I do not support, is adjusting the highway beautification fee, increasing it to cover the cost. You see, again, hey, Jenny. Aloha, Jenny. How you doing? This is the mentality of a lot of our government leaders is let's just charge more fees. No. See, the problem is not the problem is we are not doing our job on the front end. So when we don't do our job on the front end, meaning lawmakers, when we have crappy laws that allow these things to happen. Hey, Mark, aloha. Then and Therese, aloha. Then you get a crappy result. The answer and the solution is not to go charge more taxes and fees to go fix a bad, flawed process. No. You go hold the people that's responsible, hold them accountable. That's how you fix the problem. Fix the root of the problem. Don't go charge a higher fee to go put a Band-Aid on the problem. That's not how you do it. I don't know, and I respect my buddies on the council, but at the end of the day, you cannot continue to tax and charge fees on people to handle a problem in government. That's not the way to go. What we do is you go after the problem. What's the problem? You got these sellers that are selling these cars for cash money. These people are not registering their cars. They junk the car. There's no trace. No one can go after them. If you fix that problem, John Doe goes out, he buys a car, he gets it registered because he has to, because the seller is going to be responsible if not. So if I'm selling you a car, trust me, I ain't giving you no title unless we go into and we get it done right, then we cannot go after them. So this way, you guys want to go do a side deal, seller, you're responsible. So the law needs to be changed to say that the last registered owner is responsible. So that means if you sell your car, go get it done properly. That's the solution, not raising fees to go pay for these ridiculous towing charges to tow these cars. Hey, Rick, cousin Rick from Oahu, how you? Mona, how you, Mona? Love you, Mona. Awesome. So anyway, that's the two bills. I cannot support the second one, raising the fees, but I definitely support redoing the law to hold the buyer responsible for holding them accountable. So when you sell your car, you're released from liability. The new owner gets it. All right. How's this story? Visitors trying to bribe their way into Haena State Park. Interesting. I just saw this on the Honolulu Star Advertiser. They started a new system with parking. Now you got to do online reservations, and you purchase your tickets online to go to Haena Park. These are for visitors. The locals, can go in. Of course, they're limited to the amount of parking stalls. So the rules now require visitors to purchase tickets online in advance and limits visitation to 900 people a day, which is a good thing. You want to preserve that area. But now, because it's limited, there are what we're being told, very credible reports from the parking attendants that some tourists are arriving without passes and they're trying to bribe these guys to let them in. So, of course, no one's been arrested, but isn't that a trip? You get these people over there that are visiting, and they come up and they go to this parking attendant and say, hey, I don't have a ticket, but, I'll give you whatever. I don't know what the bribe is. It was the spokesperson for DLNR said, I don't know the specifics. You'd have to talk to the parking attendants, but they don't work for us. They're contracted, so I cannot. Apparently state DLNR did not do an investigation at all. But anyway, the media picked up on it. It was on the TV news. It was interesting. It was just, I thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny. Bribing your way to get into Haena State Park. Have times changed on Kauai or not? Yeah. Interesting. Kurt and Michelle, aloha. Trent, Shimabukuru. Regarding the car ownership, yes, do as they do in Cali. The seller is responsible. Absolutely. That makes sense. That fixed the problem. Not in Hawaii. No, we're going to add more fees so we can pay more money. Interesting. All right. Okay. This one is a touchy subject, and one that it kind of gets me a little irritated as usual, because our state, sometimes we do things that just is bizarre. Back in 1994, when Bank of America acquired Liberty Bank here in Hawaii, this is obviously regulated by the federal government. But when they did this, I know Mel Rapozo, can I get into a park? I don't think that works, Jeff. I don't think that works. Hey, Teresa. Anyway, so when this acquisition was done, the condition placed on that acquisition was that the Bank of America was required to provide $150 million of loans to the Native Hawaiians for Native Hawaiian homelands. In other words, they were looking at, or they committed to providing 400 loans every year, averaging $125,000 a piece. Remember, this is back in 94 when homes could be built for $125,000. Hey, Felicia. So it was a condition of the acquisition, and that was what they were going to do. They were going to provide 400 loans a year. Now, apparently, they have not done that. And now some organizations are getting together saying, hey, state, you guys need to hold these people to the fire. They haven't done their commitment. They got the acquisition. They're making billions and billions and billions of dollars. Now, bank officials told the Star Advertiser last month that they encountered challenges. DHHL lacked the volume of available lots and homes in sufficient quantities. Beneficiaries sought out loans from different banks, and sometimes beneficiaries couldn't meet the qualifications set by the federal government for these specialized loans on the HHL lands. Now, they're making these excuses today, but this was 94. This was a long time ago. They had a long time to provide these loans that were a condition of the acquisition of Liberty Bank. So now the people are saying, hey, state, we need to go after them. So $150 million was the commitment. That was the condition. $150 million in loans for Hawaiians for building their homes on Hawaiian homelands. In total, Bank of America made about $13 million in loans. $13 million. Now, they also provided startup funding and helped originate another $45 million in loans. And they are saying, well, we also help people lower their credit scores. We gave credit counseling. All this garbage. No, you did not put out $150 million in loans. You didn't do it. Hey, Bradley, Dennis, Sherry, Glenn, Stacy, and Peggy. Aloha. That's the bottom line. You come to Hawaii, you're going to acquire a bank, Liberty Bank. The feds put in some conditions, some regulations, and you don't do it, and then you make excuses. So the problem in all of this now, this is where the legal problem is. In 2007, the DHHL Deputy Director at the time, Ben Henderson, wrote a letter to Bank of America formally acknowledging that the bank had satisfied the commitment. Now, who in the hell is this deputy to write this letter? The bank is sitting on this letter now and saying, hey, we got this letter. This letter says we have done it, and they haven't done it. They haven't done it. Now, it seems like every week we're talking about a Native Hawaiian issue, and every week we're talking about a Native Hawaiian issue, we're talking about Native Hawaiians getting run over and bent over backwards and screwed. And this is just another example. Hey, Stacy. Oh, I'm sorry. I already told you hi. Now, Poe Kokua, which that was the Hawaiian organization back then that kind of was spearheading this condition during this acquisition in 94, saying, hey, you guys, you cannot just come and take over a bank. You got to give back to the community. And this is how this all started. This is how the $150 million commitment was created. And now this organization, and now remember, This condition was put in there because discriminatory banking or loan practices against Native Hawaiians were uncovered during that time. So this helped the federal regulators put in this type of condition that they were in basically to try to fix what they had messed up. They forced them to put out $100 million in loans, in home loans to Hawaiians on Hawaiian homelands. Now, so this group now, Na Po'e Kokua, wants Bank of America to pay a $400 million penalty in addition to fulfilling the $150 million requirement. Now, I said earlier, according to the researchers, they can only find 13 million, and they may have assisted with another 45 million, so about 58 million dollars that may have been put out for Native Hawaiians. That sure leaves a whole bunch of others, that other money that they didn't fulfill. Federal government needs to go after the state for the mismanagement. Sherry, bingo, and that is where I think is wrong. We're not. And these big corporate giants, you talk about the Hawaiian homelands that's being leased out to a Canadian company, again, at the expense of our Native Hawaiians. Wrong. So the $400 million in penalties is because of the opportunities, the lost opportunities cost. In other words, all of those homes that could have been built with those monies that weren't, now, because of inflation and the cost of homes, that's what it'll cost. Another $400 million. I think that's fair. I think that's deserving, and I think the state's got to step up. Now, Senator Brian Schatz even said that, and I'm going to quote him because I'm just going to quote him. I don't want to paraphrase him. I haven't heard him do anything much in Hawaii for Hawaii, but he did step up and he said, quote, "They lied. They never did it. There have been attempts at litigation. There have been attempts to recoup these dollars. The federal government has been, I think, a little squishy on enforcement. We think we are on firm territory coming after Bank of America." Rightfully so. The state, the federal government has to come after the state because the state failed. And Bank of America needs to be held accountable. Andrew, aloha. There is so much corruption on the islands. I'm so disappointed. I thought Washington was bad. This place is worse. So it just, hey, Son Baron, right on, Baroni. I think we just becoming more educated. And the information is much more available. So I think it's, we're seeing it more. I don't think it's changed much. I think there's always been corruption in Hawaii politics, but right now it's so evident. You pick an issue, pick the rail, pick Hawaiian homelands, pick OHA, pick wherever you pick. There's evidence or allegations of corruption, and we gotta do something about it. So we gotta make sure Brian Schatz walks the walk and not just talk the talk. So you guys all get on your computer right after this. Go to Schatz website and tell them we support you, Senator. Hey, Dustin and Lisa. We support your efforts to go after Bank of Hawaii. We support the Native Hawaiian community, and we believe Bank of America should be held accountable for the condition that they were required to fulfill when they acquired Liberty Bank back in 1994. He needs to hear from us. Because I got to tell you, at Congress in D.C., that bank lobby is strong. Very influential. Hey, Wally, what's up, buddy? Getting ready for the next election, my buddy. Hope so, man. Now, okay, so after all of that, August 5th, an internal memo that was not meant to go public but did. Our state Deputy Attorney General Ryan, and how's his last name? Kanaka Ole. Kanaka Ole. I don't know what Kanaka Ole means, but I know what Kanaka means. Anyway, Deputy Attorney General Ryan Kanaka Ole, he wrote a memo to County Deputy Prosecutor, Maui County Deputy Prosecutor Peter Hanano, saying that the state isn't in a position to pursue the bank. Okay, so I guess the state ain't gonna do nothing. So we gotta put the pressure on Senator Schatz. We gotta let Senator Schatz know that we are behind him in going after Bank of Hawaii. Adam, what's up, man? That is how it's done, because it doesn't seem like the state is going to do anything. It doesn't appear that we are going to. He's saying we're in no position. I don't know. I think that 2007 letter that came from the deputy director at the time, Ben Henderson, who said that, you know, they fulfilled their. How can someone do that? How what? You go to lunch with the bank executive and you say, hey, brother, I need one letter from you saying that we fulfilled the obligation. Hey, Garrett, is that how can you, as a deputy director? Of course, I'm not surprised, because DHHL has really never impressed me with the representation of the Native Hawaiians. Just look at the vacant Hawaiian homelands all over the place, where we should be having Hawaiians in homes. We don't. So anyway, frustrating. I saw a little bit of scuttlebutt on the internet. I saw a little bit of, a lot of comments on Facebook about this $150 million deal. So I decided to do a little bit of research, and wow. Hey, Michelle, wow. Like, you just, how can these things happen when we pay these people big bucks to be directors and deputies, to look out? What's happening? Their fiduciary responsibility. What? Just toss them out the window for a free lunch? All of this corruption is due to greed. Money is the root of all evil. My brother Brian, I can tell you, all of this is, the corruption is due to greed. Money, money can do a lot of good, but in the wrong hands, it can be bad. Look at this, Surrey, Burley, Alai Billah. I've been on the waiting list since 1987. These loans were supposed to be made in 94. I'm sure you never get the notice from Bank of America saying, hey, we have $150 million for Native Hawaiians. I'm sure you never got that letter. Dan and Hoku, aloha, aloha. So, people, listen. The state is set up with these departments that are responsible to oversee and protect our people, our assets, our resources, our oceans, and so forth. And we need to hold them accountable, because the leaders are not. These guys do what they want. Self-interest, special interests, and then the people suffer. And the people lose out. I hope that the federal government comes down on Bank of America. I hope that the federal government comes down and not just make them pay finish out the $150 million in loans, but tag them with the $400 million. And I hope those monies ends up not in attorneys' pockets, but in the hands of the Native Hawaiians, so they can get into on their Hawaiian homelands and build their homes. Oh, all right. Gosh. All right. Hey, hey, Thomas, aloha, gotta go. Roger that. Ken, Tina, Star, aloha, aloha. All right. So, last story. We have been talking about TVRs, illegal TVRs, and illegal bed and breakfasts for a long time. Back in 2000 and I think it was probably 2006, 7, 8, whenever it was, the council came up with some really, really tough TVR laws that was to stop any future TVRs. That laws, unfortunately, got weakened. I will say this, when Joanne and I left the council in 08, that sitting council really softened the vacation rental bills, and really provided opportunities for a lot more to happen. And but one of the things that people kept telling me, Mel, you're not going these vacation rentals and these bed and breakfasts, they're not going to make them. They're not going to be long-term rentals. If you tell them they cannot be vacation rentals, you think they're going to turn around and make them long-term rentals for local people? Now, I get irritated when I hear that, because number one, I don't care what they do with that property, as long as it's legal. So I don't care if they cannot turn that $20 million home into a long-term rental. I really don't. I mean, yes, it's foolish to think that these people will come down and buy a house for $25 million with the intent of doing vacation rentals so they can make money. And then a county comes in and say that's illegal. To think that they're going to convert that $28 million into a rental for affordable or for our local people, yeah, that's not going to happen. Hey, Nina and Tony, aloha. But there are many, many, many small homes, medium homes, condos, apartments that are being used as illegal vacation rentals. I'm not talking about the $100 million mansion in Kilauea and Aliomano. I'm not talking about those. I'm not talking about those mansions or barns. They call them a barn because they're these ag lots. They're allowed to put a barn. They build a barn that's, 10,000 square feet with all the luxuries that you can possibly imagine. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the ones down my street, the two that are on my street that are regular old homes that are being used as vacation rentals now because they can make money. I'm talking about apartments and condos that could be used for long term and yet make the owners at least make them some money. Hey, Art, aloha. There are many units like this. Now, people tell me, no, you guys crazy. Well, today, in a letter to the editor in the Star Advertiser, and I didn't put this lady's name down, but this is what she wrote. She says, my granddaughter and her new husband were able to find an apartment in a former bed and breakfast house right in our neighborhood and close to where they work. You see, this little bed and breakfast was at one time was an apartment for local people. And then the TVR boom. Now you can put them on Airbnb and rent these things out for $300, $400, $500, $600 a night. The city and county of Oahu come down and now they enforce. These guys are forced now to not vacation rent their little apartments, their little homes. They only have one alternative: either sell the property or rent it out long term. So to all of those people that says, Mel, you're barking up the wrong tree, I say, wrong. Hey, Kaleo, congratulations on the marathon, buddy. There are many units on Kauai right now, in neighborhoods, in Wailua, in Kapa'a, in everywhere, Kalaheo, that should be long-term rentals, can be long-term rentals. But because of the greed, they're going vacation rental, bed and breakfast, illegally. If this county was to go out and enforce, and they're doing a great job, there's not a dig on planning because they're out there as best they can, and I know this for a fact. We step it up and we force these people to put those small houses, apartments, condos back into the long-term market. We are going to pick up inventory, people. We will. So you cannot tell me that the vacation rental bills will not work. They do work, and that was proven by this little old lady in Honolulu who firsthand witnessed the TVR law working. And it can work here as well. All right, let's see. Hey, Shane, what's up? Brian, my brother from the Big Island. On Monday night, my Social Security benefit was taken by someone in Illinois. Somehow, apparently, my card was counterfeited. They took out over $900. Oh, man, sorry to hear that, bro. Got to be careful nowadays. These crooks all over the place. And I hope they can rectify that, Brian. I hope they can somehow get that money back. It's not your fault. Damn. Mobile home parks, shipping container homes. At this point, we got to start looking at all kinds of options. To think that we're going to put every single family in need of a home in a 1,500 or 1,800 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house is crazy. That's not going to happen. But we get land, we put up smaller units, 800 square foot units. We can get families in homes at reasonable prices. I mean, it takes a lot of collaboration with the government, the nonprofit sector. You cannot do it. The government cannot do it alone. The state cannot do it alone. Obviously, the private sector can't do it alone. The nonprofit sector working in conjunction with the state and the counties is the only solution. Senator Kochi, thank you for coming on. Glenda, Richard Fernandez, aloha. Is that identity theft? It sure is, Brian. When they take your identity, when they steal your Social Security benefits, when they steal your medical records, when they steal your driver's license, when they steal your passport, it's identity theft. I told you guys before, I put it in a comment right now. It's going to hit everybody. Hang on. It is going to hit everybody. So there's my business plug for the day. Right there, look in the box, mplss.com. You can get, Brian, you need the protection. See? And let them get it, fix it for you. Oh my God. Yeah, so there is, it is fixable. You just gotta, it takes the land, it takes a willing partner, a collaborating partner. Nonprofit to me makes the most sense because their design, their expertise is in working with federal tax credits and building units. To wait for developers to come up and put a 20% or 30% requirement, workforce versus affordable, we'll never get to where we need to be. We need to move forward. We need to work with the nonprofit developers. We need to work with the nonprofit organizations that have access to these amazing financing opportunities. Again, using the federal tax credits. It's the only way we're going to beat this. Not going to beat this by building 10 units, 8 units, 4 units, 6 units, but again, it comes down to land. We need land, and we need a lot of land to make it happen. So anyway, I'm done. So anybody, what else? Anything you guys want to talk about? Senator Kochi, you want to give us an update on what's going on? Hang on, I need water. Thank you guys. Thanks again for joining me every single Wednesday. Some of you guys are faithful. Hey, Herb, Kamaile, what's up? A lot of you guys are faithful, loyal every single Wednesday. Thank you guys. You guys know you can go to my YouTube channel, Mel Rapozo, and you can check out all the Facebook lives all the way back to last October. We'll put this one up tonight. And if you subscribe to the channel and you click the little bell button, that'll notify you every time we put up a new video. So I get calls from Amplify Funding that made a loan, and they call every day. I get calls from Amplify. I don't never heard of that, Beatles. I don't know. It's happening to a lot of people, even senior citizens. Listen, as far as identity theft, dead people, old people, and kids are the big targets. Dead people, obviously, they don't complain, right? Old people, they're very, very vulnerable, and they don't check their credit reports. And young people, infants, students, they don't check their credit reports. So they will not know that they've been victimized until they'll go out and go apply for a cell phone or go get a student loan or whatever the case may be. So those are the targets, but that does not mean the rest of us are not vulnerable. We all are. Identity theft is a ridiculous crime. It's the fastest growing crime. It's they used to break into your house and steal stuff. Now they break into your house to steal your identity, information. That's what they need. And it's so readily available today with technology. Eddie, Kanani, aloha, Steven, Shioi, aloha, brother. So it's not going to go away. So you saw my link up there. Check it out, guys. I mean, it's a small investment to protect. I'll put it up again. Rubbish dump to stay in Kekaha. Yes, Thomas Nizo, you are correct. That is the new administration's position, is that they're going to extend Kekaha dump, the landfill, for another 100 years. That is, I'm very disappointed with that. But again, that is what has been stated. And Alfred, aloha. So that's kind of where we're at. I still believe that we need to burn our trash. Or I shouldn't say burn, because there's many technologies available today besides incineration that we could take our trash, reduce it by 75 or 80% volume, and convert that into fuel or electricity. There's a lot of technologies today that are working. Not like back in the 80s. Everybody says, oh, you know, they tried that once. They looked at it before, blah, blah. That's 30 years ago. Today we have modules, modular systems that they can size to any size of your trash needs. We do 250 tons of trash a day. We have systems available that that could be brought here. This is the deal. We cannot rely on landfills forever. We're a small island, and just the impact to our environment is no good. Pretty soon can build TMT on the dump in Kikaha. Absolutely, that sure as hell ain't sacred ground. Bioenergy, yeah, that's one of the companies right there. I mean, there's many out there that we should be looking at, and we should not be talking about extending Kikaha for another 100 years. That is insane. Kamalo Umu, Kathy Silva, may have been discussed before, but dang, Rice Street is a major mess. Yeah, we did talk about that, Stephen. We talked about that. That is another hot button issue. I get complaints, and I am not exaggerating. I get complaints every single day. That project, it's a neighborhood revitalization project. It's an economic development grant, the Tiger Grant, $17 million project. I did not support the project. I was the only council member that voted against it because I knew what would happen. And the inconvenience during construction is one thing, but what you're seeing right now with the construction allowing only 2 lanes of travel, that's what it's going to be. There will be a 3rd lane in the middle that's going to be a turning lane, but for the majority of the traffic on Rice Street, they're not turning. They're driving straight. So you're going to be limited to 2 lanes. You're going to get a big sidewalk. You're going to have all these amenities on Rice Street that's going to have to be maintained by the county that the grant's not going to pay for. So, you know, Stephen, I tried to educate, man. I got blasted. I got blasted for voting against that project because everybody felt, hey, we need that in Lihui. We need this walkable, bikeable community. All of the businesses are leaving Rice Street. What's left? You know, the post office is going to stay. Central Pacific Bank just announced they're leaving. They're not renewing their lease there, so they're moving out of Rice Street. All of that inside by Hamura Simon, they've moved out. You know, a lot of the small businesses in there have moved out to Puhi. So, you know, it's just they're relying on the old cliche: build it and they will come. Feel the dreams. But all of the businesses that I come in contact with, and it's quite a few, and many of you have heard this before because I've said it so many times, all of the businesses, they're not telling me, no, I cannot wait for Rice Street to be finished so I could move my business to Rice Street, because there's just not enough volume to justify. There's just not. We are not Oregon. We are not California or Washington State. People got to understand that we are a rural island community. We're not we're not a city. We're a little rural town that doesn't have the traffic, the foot traffic, the bicycle traffic. We don't, and it's not going to happen. People are not going to give up their cars to go get a bicycle or walk in Rice Street. They're not going to do it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, but I got to tell you, during this process, during the Tiger Grant process, while I was still on the council, I spoke to a lot of people, and not just here, from the mainland, from those streets in Oregon. You're talking about big cities that had much activity. And I'll close with this. And I told the former mayor this. If the Tiger Grant was to be used in Hanapepe Town, where there is a robust walking community, and they have events at night that encourage people to come out and walk and enjoy, or Kapa'a, where they have the same situation, same scenario, a lot of street walkers, vendors, a lot of shops that open up at night, a lot of visitors cruising, and it's an unsafe place. There's no parking, and it's just dangerous to go there at night. If that Tiger Grant was to be used in Hanapepe or Kapa'a, I could have supported that, because I think it's I think it would have worked out. But on Rice Street, there's just nothing there. Nothing there. Marlene, you're not wrong. Feel the same way. I think a lot of people do. Everybody's afraid to say it because they don't want to, but it's the truth. It's my truth. It's my opinion. And that's just from my experiences working and living on this island for my entire life. Chief Asher, it will be more difficult for emergency vehicles to navigate Rice Street in emergency. Bingo. Another one. Waimea, Thomas, Nizo, another place. There was definitely other options for this money than Rice Street. Only people on bikes are the homeless, and sad if they want to look nice and clean up the front of the county building. Absolutely. Lihue town is empty at night. Yeah, I mean, again, I hope I'm wrong. I do. I sincerely do. I don't think so. We this county rely on the leaders. We bring in people from the mainland. Nothing wrong with people from the mainland. It's just that their ideas from where they come from do not fit our community here. Their ideas of what Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, Washington, or San Francisco, California looks like will not work in Lihue, Kauai. People got to get it through their head. They get 75,000 people in one park for one concert. We get 75,000 people on the whole island. It's apples and oranges. It is what it is. I'm going to end with that because it's 6:31. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. Appreciate you guys. Senator Kochi, appreciate you jumping on. Next week, Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30. Same place, same time. YouTube channel, Mel Rapozo. Subscribe and make sure you click the button. And see you guys all. Mahalo, Mel. Your show keeps me up to date on what's happening. I try my best. Take care. Andy Grace, aloha. See you guys. I love you guys. We'll see you next week.